Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and a happy New Year, everyone. So I want to welcome you all to this new year. I'm excited about the new year because it's like we get second chances, right? We get to kind of reset the time for the things that we wanted to achieve. So I want to welcome you all to this session. New Year is a time where we kind of have renewed energy, right? We have renewed energy, and it's like we get an opportunity. We get an opportunity to kind of ignore the past, okay? Ignore the past and focus on now, the present, and then say that I'm going to do things differently, okay? I'm going to do these things differently. I'm going to set realistic goals for myself, and I'm going to become that person that achieves the most desired goals that I've set for myself. So I think it's a good thing. My name is Dr. Charity Azanwa Onako. I'm the founder of Wealthygen, and I want to welcome you to this session. If you are someone who never achieves your New Year's resolution, if you're someone who never achieves your desired goals or brings your dreams to life, then stick with me for a few minutes today in this session. And I'm going to teach you the simplest and easiest ways to crush your most desired goals for this year. So whether you're here with me on Zoom, or you're watching on Eventbrite, or you're watching this on YouTube, I want to welcome you to this session. Okay, with that said, I'm going to quickly share my screen for a moment. All right, so one thing with New Year's resolution is that most people have given up. Most people don't set New Year's resolutions anymore. Most people don't set goals anymore. And why is that? Because a lot of times people set goals and they don't achieve them. And because they don't achieve them, they give up, right? So why do we, I believe in setting goals, okay? I believe in achieving New Year's resolution, but the reason why people give up on it, because a lot of people have, is because when they set goals, they focus on the future. They focus on the harvest. I want to achieve this in the future. I want to harvest this. This is in the next 5 years, I want to lose 100 pounds. In the next 6 months, I want to start a new business. Those are good. Those are goals. But when we focus on the future without focusing on the seed, on what we have to do now that will yield that thing in the future, that's where the problem is. And then people get frustrated because some months down the line, they've not achieved their goals, right? So one of the reasons is that people focus on the future. Now, when you focus on the harvest, this is what I want to achieve. Ignoring what you have to do at the moment. The seed you have to plant now that will yield the harvest. And then if you sit back without planting any seeds for today, the harvest will never come. And when the harvest doesn't come, people give up, right? People ignore setting goals. They just believe New Year's resolution, yeah, next month it comes and goes without achieving it. All right. So without planting any seeds, it's difficult, or without planting good seeds, it's difficult for you to reap the harvest that you always wanted to. Now, what does this mean for me? Let me give you a simple statistics. 92%. 92% of people who set New Year's goals never achieve them. This is from a research from the University of Scranton. So 92% of people who set New Year's goals never achieve them. What does that mean for you? Now, one interesting thing I want you to pay attention to in this session is that whatever we say here, whatever words we use here, put yourself in that situation and say, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for me? Now, what does this 92% mean for you? It simply means 8%. It means 8% of people, only 8% of people achieve their New Year's resolutions. So there are 92% of people who set goals and never achieve it, but there's only 8% goal achievers. Now, I have a question for you. If you believe that you can be among these 8% goal achievers, Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. My goal for you is that after this session, you become one of the goal achievers for this year. You will have all it takes for you to crush your goals this year, right? Now, if you believe that you are going to become one of these goal achievers, I want you to put in the comment for me. I want you to put it in the comment section for me. Now, I have a reason for asking you to put it in the comment section, okay? Because I believe that you would normally pause and say, am I really going to achieve my goals this year? And when you pause, take a moment to pause and think about it, is whether you believe it or not. If you believe it, you say, oh, yes, I'm going to do this. But if you have little doubt, you'll be like, it's going to be like one of those goals. But one thing I want you to believe or to know is that everything begins with your mindset. Everything begins with your mindset. Okay, so whatever you want to achieve, you have to first of all imagine it, believe it, imagine it, visualize it, believe it, and then you put it down. Okay, for anything at all you want to achieve, whatever goal it is, you should first of all imagine it and visualize it. I put them all as one because you imagine it, what is it? You have to know what you want to achieve, then you visualize it. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. And then you believe it. When you believe it, then you write it down. If you write it down without believing it, it's just going to be like one of those things in your notebook that you never get to. And then once you write it down, you act on it. This is a simple first step. Imagine and visualize it, believe it, write it down, and act on it. Okay? Now, why is it important? And this is why I asked you to write it down in the comment section for me. Why is it important for you to write it down? According to Dr. Gail Matthews, a psychology professor at the Dominican University of California, she said that 42% of people who write their goals down achieve it. So you are more likely to achieve your goals and dreams simply by writing them down. Okay? Now, we are going to write our dreams down. If you have a paper, pen, a notebook, which I believe you should have for this session, make sure you have a writing pad. Write your goals down. If you believe it, write it down. If you're watching anywhere, write it in the comments, write it in the chat here, and you are more likely to achieve your goals when you write it down. And now, remember, before we even get to writing what our goals are down, we have to visualize it. Imagine it, visualize it, believe it, and then we'll write it down, okay? So we're going to take it one at a time. Why do you have to visualize your goals? Why is it important that you visualize your goals? Now, we said, if you can imagine it, if you can imagine your goals and visualize it, you are more likely to achieve it. So visualization is a key step in you achieving your goals. It's like it draws your energy, brings your energy closer to that thing that you want to achieve. I'm going to tell you guys a little story. Some of you may understand the story, some of you may not, but it kind of validates what we are talking about here. Some years back, while I was in Nigeria, fresh out of college, I went into camp. In Nigeria, when you graduate from school, you get to serve your country for 1 year before you get into the workforce. So you are put in a camp for 3 weeks and get some military training. So one of the things we are trained on is if you are one of the guards or sub-guard commandants and you are leading a parade, you are trained to stand and never to fall no matter what. And especially those guards and sub-guard commandants that are in the front or those that carry the national flag, we are trained to stand and never to fall. Even if you're going to fall, you're going to fall like a hero. That kind of training that we had. And then I happened to be one of the sub-guard commandants, and I was standing in the front, leading my platoon members and all that. And then one of the military officials was going to give an opening remarks. And he had his speech in a kind of speech book. And then I looked at it, I believed right then that it was going to be a very long one. And because it was going to be a very long speech, I thought, are we going to stand? It was sunny. Are we going to stand here for him to read all of that? Immediately, I started thinking, what if somebody falls? What if I fall? Am I going to stand here and watch him read all of that before the parade even starts? So we are already tired because we already stood for a long time. And then immediately I started thinking, what if I fall? How are people going to look at me? how am I going to feel? What is it going to be like? A sub-guard commandant fell before the parade even begins. And then I started thinking, okay, it would be better if I was one of those people that stood at the back, so that if I want to fall, I would just fall without anybody noticing. Then I started playing it in my head. And immediately I turned to people around me and said, can we switch places so that I can stand behind you and then you can stand in the front? And then they were scared, of course. They didn't want to get into trouble, so nobody agreed. And the moment I started playing, oh my God, what is it going to look like if I fall? And the moment I get focused on me falling, I immediately felt dizzy. And then immediately I staggered to the back and went to the back and just sat down until the Red Cross team came to me and then gave me some glucose for energy and encouraged me to just focus on the parade I was going to lead. And then after a few minutes, I regained myself and I came back. And then, of course, before the parade began. So what this means is because I was focused on me falling, I made it happen. I brought it to life, right? So the key takeaway here is that when you focus when you imagine things and visualize things, it kind of focuses your energy around it. And then I wanted to ask some of you, have you ever thought of, okay, I want new car. I want this new car. I want to buy, this is the car I really want to buy, or something like that. And then you get on the road, you begin to see people driving that car. You begin to see different versions of that car that you thought of. And then you start wondering, why is this car all of a sudden on the road? Why are people now driving this car that I wanted? The truth is, it has always been there. It has always been there. It's just that because you are imagining it, your energy is being drawn. Your focus, your energy is being drawn towards that thing that you want. So the takeaway for us is, if visualization and imagination can work for simple things like that, the abstract things that we don't really pay much attention to, why can't we use that strategy for the most desired goals that we want to achieve, for that dream that we want to achieve? Because it works both ways. When you visualize things, it kind of validates your thoughts, right? It brings it to life. It helps bring it to life. It helps validate your thoughts. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why we should visualize your goals. And we are going to come to that goal that you want to achieve. Okay, what goal do you want to achieve this year? And I'm going to ask you to follow me on this exercise. We are going to imagine and visualize that goal. I'm going to read some prompts to you, and then we'll guide you through imagining and visualizing your goals, okay? So bear with me for a moment. You can close your eyes if you want to, but just connect your goal with your authentic self. I'm going to read from the worksheet I have here. You can close your eyes if you want to, but connect your goal with your authentic self. Take a deep breath and breathe out through your mouth. Remember, if you can imagine and visualize your goals, you are more likely to achieve it, okay? Do not restrict yourself. Assume there is no limitation and money is not a problem, okay? Here you go. What is that goal or dream that you want to achieve? Think of it as your harvest. Decide on what it is and start visualizing it. It could be a successful launch of your new product, a new book, a new business, a new investment. Whatever your goal is, start imagining the successful outcome. Now, keep in mind, what you're imagining is not the failures. You're going to imagine the successful outcome. Imagine yourself being in that exact scene. It could be the day of your launch or the day you got that big news. Make sure you use all your senses for this visualization. Be specific. What do you feel? What do you see? What do you smell, touch, taste? All of them. Now, imagine your feelings and expectations about the outcome of your goal. You are confident and excited. You can't wait to wow your clients, your customers, your audience, your colleagues, or your friends and family. Now, reflect on yourself. How can you become, this is important, how can you become the person who has achieved that goal? Imagine building yourself and doing the things that get you this success. Picture those things you have to do and go through them in your mind. Focus on how the success of each action will make you feel. Remember, only focus on what you want. Ignore anything you do not want. Imagine you've done these things and you've achieved your goal. How does it make you feel? Who was there to share those feelings with you? Now visualize your typical work day after this success. What does your morning look like when you wake up? What's your morning schedule? Where are you? What's happening around you? How are you dressed? Are you going to work? What about lunchtime? What's happening around you? Where are you? Are you at home? Are you in the office? Are you at the beach? It's now time for evening time. Where are you? How are you? Who are you with? How did your day go? What are you thinking about as you go to sleep? Now, I want you to end it with gratitude. You want to believe it and thank God or the universe for the goal you have achieved. Now you can open your eyes. Now, this is the visualization exercise that we encourage you to do every day. Now, the next section we are going to do is for you now to write down the goal you just visualized. Remember, you just played it in your mind. You visualize the actions you're going to take. You visualize the success. Now it's time for you to put your goals down, okay? Now, here's the thing about writing your goals. Remember, our focus is on your most desired goals. What is the most important goal that you want to achieve? There are so many goals that you can achieve, but the reason why people don't achieve their goals is because sometimes the goal is not achievable. They start with the most, maybe an ambiguous goal. Maybe I want to achieve this goal by the end of the year, right? Maybe I want to lose 30 pounds. But then if they don't lose 30 pounds, they get frustrated. It's good. The strategy here is for you to dream big, which is good, but then you have to start small. Rather than say, I want to lose 30 pounds or 20 pounds, how about we start with 1 pound a day? How about we give ourselves a goal of losing 2 pounds? You are going to dream big, but you are going to start small, okay? Now, let's walk through. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. All right. Assuming you have a goal to build an investment portfolio of 300K. This is as big as it can be. Whatever it is these are just examples. If I want to build an investment portfolio of 300K by the end of this year, right? This will be my long-term goal, right? It's probably going to be a long-term milestone for me. Your goal can be any milestone you want to achieve. It doesn't matter what it is. Growth is personal. One of my friends last time, she called it growth is personal. Success is personal to you. Whatever it is you most desire. Because you have to desire that thing so much that you can do anything to achieve it. So that's why it's important for it to be your most desired goal. So assuming this is my most desired goal, if I focus on this 300K portfolio investment, I might not achieve it. Because it might take me 1 year to get there. It might take me 2 years to get there. And then maybe 3 months down the line, I'm not seeing my portfolio get to 300K. I will get frustrated. Now, the strategy here is for you to think about, for this 300K, what will I even do? How will I become the person that achieves or that builds portfolio of 300K? And then if I ask myself this question, I begin to think that for me to build my portfolio to 300K, I have to first of all learn how investments work. That's how I become that person. If I don't know how investment work, I might end up losing my money. So I have to become that person. What is the seed I have to sow today for my harvest to be this investment portfolio of 300K? That's how you begin to think about it. I would say, okay, maybe I have to first of all learn. There are so many kinds of investments, but which one? I may have to take it one step at a time. Okay. And then I'm going to come here and say, maybe let me start with learning how investing in the stock market works. Maybe that would be my first step. My milestone number 1. This is me laying a strong foundation for myself, because if I jump into investments without knowing how it works, I might end up losing my money. Short term, what can I do in the short term? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, max. What can I do within these 3 months that gets me towards my big goal? And then maybe now learn how to invest will become my most desired goal. Why did I say that? Even though I want to build a portfolio investment of 300K, but my most desired goal at this moment is something short term, that I can get started right away. So that I can make progress, so I can make incremental progress, so that if I learn how to invest in the stock market, it will add to this long-term goal. It will add to this portfolio that I'm looking at, but at least I will achieve something. And once I achieve this knowledge about how the stock market works or how to invest in the stock market, I'm going to be excited. I'm going to be full of energy. I'm going to have the confidence. I'm going to be proud. I'm going to have that desire or the zeal to do the next thing that I have to do. If I don't achieve this milestone here, it might be difficult for me to move further. Make sense? So let me know if you have any question. Please feel free to put in the chat. And if you want to interject at any time, let me know, and I will have you speak, okay? So this is the strategy here. And then maybe when I learn how to invest in the stock market, then I'll move on to the next goal. And then I will start to build stock investment portfolio. Instead of targeting 300K, maybe I can say, okay, let me start with 10,000. Or maybe let me start with 5K. Or maybe even let me start with 2,000. Whatever that is comfortable for you, whatever that is personal to you, whatever you can achieve within that short-term period. This will be my second milestone. And guess what? My knowledge of the stock market will help me achieve the second milestone. If I jumped into buying stocks, like I said before, I might get frustrated, I might lose money, I might run into so many things. And that is what's happening to a lot of people today. They jump into goals, I want to achieve this, right? Looking at the harvest without thinking about what can I do now? What are the seeds, good seeds that I have to plant that will yield me the harvest? What are the incremental steps that I have to take every single day that will get me to that my most desired goals? So I achieved my milestone number one, and I'm excited, I'm happy, I have the energy and the confidence and the motivation to go next. And then I set another goal. My next most desired goal is to get this portfolio to 10K. And then I made steady progress. And then I apply my knowledge from milestone one and achieve this. Now, when I get to this portfolio of 10K, I'm like, okay, I'm getting there. I'm not going to lose hope. And then I get into the next step. Then it becomes a question of, okay, now I know how stock market works. Maybe I can explore other opportunities, other investment opportunities, right? Maybe I can acquire a rental property. Now I have a knowledge, I have a solid foundation because I understand about investments. I understand about portfolio. I understand all of those things. I can say, okay, let me acquire rental property. Rental property might cost you 100K, it might cost you 50K, it might cost you whatever the cost is, it doesn't really matter. But that's your next step. You are growing from your milestone number 2 to the third one. It can be another stock portfolio, depending on what you want. You can get another 10 or you can get another 20. But the idea here is for you to move on to the next stage. Maybe by the time I acquire a rental property, I might, depending on how much it is, it might get me to maybe 200,000 portfolio or 150. And then let's say I stopped at 150. My next target might be, okay, let's increase on my stock portfolio, or let me look for another asset to buy. And then you build onto your asset. By the time you add all of these things up, your portfolio is building. And then before you know it, all of these little steps, little goals, little short-term goals will add up to your long-term goal of building an investment portfolio. So it is step-by-step, small incremental steps that get you to where you are or where you want to become, where you want to be. But the foundation here is that you have to, first of all, become that person who can achieve it because you visualize it. Here's the secret here. When you visualize it, you've already done all of these things because you played the steps in your head. Now, I want to take you back to the football players or basketball players, all of these athletes, right? The day of their game, they don't come and think about why they're not, or how they're going to lose the game. No, their focus on that day is while they are getting ready, they're picturing the field. They are picturing themselves giving their best shot. They are picturing all the moves they have to make. They are picturing the crowd that are cheering them on. They are picturing themselves winning that race. Please put yourself on mute. So they're picturing themselves doing all of that. They're visualizing their success. So the key to visualization is for you to visualize the successful outcome of whatever you so much desire. So here's the strategy here. Dream big, but take small incremental actions. Dream big, but start small. Start with the smallest of the steps that all of them together will add together to get you your most desired goals. Okay? All right, so here's the thing. Remember, our goal number one is to learn to invest in the stock market. That's one of the goals we are going to take on, okay? Because the goal is for you to achieve one goal and then you move on to the next. Now, if we pick our first goal of learning to invest in the stock market, this is just random and it can be any of your goals, okay? As you work on this, choose any goal that you have determined, that you visualized, okay? This is just an example. Now, what is the first thing? Okay, why do I want to achieve this goal? You should ask yourself this question. Why do I want to learn to invest in the stock market in the first place? Your why will drive your actions. Your why is the reason why you will not quit in the first place. You have to kind of build your why into what you're doing. If you don't have a reason why you do things, you will not have any motivation to continue doing that. So your why is, why do you want to achieve this? How will it make you feel? And I give a little example here. It says, I will make smart money decisions and minimize my risk of losing my money. This is my why. I want to make smart money decisions. I want to minimize my risk of losing my money. This is my why. Your why can be anything. Okay? Your why can be anything. Then once you know your why, how much is it going to cost you? Some goals don't require money, okay? But if it's going to cost you money, yes, put in the cost. Because when you set goals, sometimes you have to put in some money. Definitely, or not definitely, but sometimes some goals are just habits that you want to work on. If it's going to cost you money, yes, put how much it's going to cost you. In this case, it's 2,500, pardon my error here, but how much is it going to cost you? And when you are budgeting, remember we talk about money and all of that, when you are budgeting, you want to know how much is it going to cost you. If I want to learn how to invest in the stock market, I probably might pay somebody. I probably might pay to get a class. Depending on what my actions, what I would do, that will determine how much it's going to cost me, okay? What is going to be my seed? Remember, learning to invest in the stock market is the harvest that I'm expecting. This is what outcome I want to achieve. What is going to be my seed? What am I going to do? What actions do I have to take? What is going to be my input? Because if you focus on achieving your goals without focusing on what you have to do, remember, we are going to focus on the present. We want to focus on now and determine what we are going to do now to achieve that goal we so much desire in the future. In this example here, my actions will be, maybe if it's going to cost me 2,500 to learn how to invest in the stock market, I'm going to start now to save, and my goal is to save 20,000, 2,000 by February 2024. And I'm going to take a stock investment class. Then I'm going to open a brokerage account and practice. These three things will help me to learn how to invest in the stock market. I can hire a mentor. Whatever action I have to take at the moment, I have to write it down. And then in my visualization, I'm going to visualize myself doing these things. I'm going to visualize myself saving money every paycheck. I'm going to visualize myself in that class, watching YouTube videos if I have to, signing up for a class and taking that class diligently. And then I'm going to picture myself actually investing in my own brokerage account, practicing how to invest. These are my actions. This is my seed. This is what I have to plant to bring my dream to life. And then what is your timeline? Now, here's the tricky part here. People always say, when you set goals, set a timeline when you want to achieve your goals. But I encourage us to think about this timeline in a different way. Because why people get frustrated is because they say in 3 months, I will do this. And 3 months come, they don't achieve it, they get frustrated. Or they just give up. I want you to think about timeline as this is the time I have to do these things. Not necessarily, I must achieve this by this. It's a bit tricky, but sometimes you have to play with your mind to get things to happen your way. Why do I say it's important to change the mindset that way? Because we don't have control over time. Time is something no one has control of. If it's 3 p.m., it's 3 p.m. We cannot go back and say, let's shift the time a little bit so I can get this done. When you set goals, think about the things you as a person can control. And when you focus on what you can control, it becomes easy for you because you are the center of everything. I always like to say that you are your most important investment because everything is around you. This seed is within you. You are the seed, basically. Whatever you want to achieve is in you. You are the center of it all. So it has to be something you can control. So think about timeline as from now till March. When I put March 31st here, it is really from now till March, I'm going to save $2,000. I'm going to take stock investment class. I'm going to open a brokerage account. I can control me doing all of these things. Rather than saying, by March 31st, 2024, I must have learned how to invest in the stock market. It can also work that way, but some things might happen that you cannot control. What if you are studying, you are opening brokerage accounts, you are doing all of these things, but you're not understanding it? You have no control of that. Because you can do all of these things, but you may not necessarily learn it 100%. I don't know if you're still following me. If someone says that, I'm going to forget this for a moment and say that I'm going to increase my revenue. For those of us that do business, someone might say, I'm going to increase my sales revenue by 100,000, example. By March 31st, I want to increase my revenue by 100,000. Just a random example right there. You can do all of the things you have to do. You can bring good products, okay? You can do your marketing. You can change your flows. You can do anything you have to do to bring your goods to the front of your customers. You know where your customers are. You can do all of this and bring your goods to the front of your customers, but you're not going to force them to buy. So when you give a quantitative goal like that, it's good because you visualize it. But what you should focus on, you know within yourself that if I have good products, if I communicate my why to my consumers, my customers, if I offer good price, then I know I have done those things. These things should help me achieve these goals. Then you go ahead and do it. By March 31st, you may hit your 100,000. But what if one customer that's supposed to come and make that goal 100,000 has an emergency? Random example. You have no control over that. This customer might come tomorrow and make it happen. But here you are fixed on March 31st. What if April 1st, that customer comes and makes that purchase? But to you, by March 31st, you did not achieve your goal. So a lot of people get frustrated that way. So the strategy here is for you to focus on the things you have to do. Focus on your why. Focus on the things you have to do. Timeline is good. Timeline should be the time you have given yourself to do all of these things. And once you've done that, within yourself, you are on your way. You have achieved your milestone you set for yourself, or you are almost on your way to achieving it, depending on the kind of goal you set for yourself. Does it make sense? Questions, comments? Let me know. So here's the 4 things you have to have. You have to know your why. You have to know what you have to put in yourself to be able to, the kind of seed you are putting out there, right? You have to develop yourself. You have to take action within yourself. And then you have to know if it's going to cost you money. How does that cost build into your strategy, right? How are you preparing for the course it's going to cost? And then what timeline? What time have you given yourself to do all of these things you have to do to become the person that achieves this goal that you've set for yourself? Okay. Now, here are some tips that I have put together for us based on all of the things that we've talked about. This is basically kind of summary of the things that we've talked about today. You have to think big. If you want to achieve your most desired goal. Now, what is your most desired goal? You have to believe in that goal. You have to desire that goal so much that you can do anything to achieve it. If you don't desire that, you might not have the motivation to do what it takes to achieve it. So first things first, you must desire that goal so you can do anything to achieve it. And that goal can be any big. You can think big about the goal, but the strategy here is for you to start small. Break your long-term goals into short-term goals. It can be big, but the strategy is for you to break them into small, short-term goals so that you can start with the smallest of the milestones that will get you there. All right. So the next one is to build the base. Have you ever seen someone that built a beautiful mansion while the foundation is not strong? If the foundation is not strong, it's going to crumble. For you to achieve your most desired goals, you have to build the base. You have to lay the foundation. And what is your base? Your base is you. Your foundation is you. You have to continuously develop yourself. It doesn't matter what goal it is. There's a way for you to build and develop yourself. Even if you want to lose weight, there are arts to losing weight. You have to learn how your body works. You have to learn what foods work best for you. You have to learn what kind of food you have to eat for you to lose those weight. You have to learn the activities you have to do for you to shed those pounds. If you want to start a business, you need to learn how to start a business. What kind of business structure do you want to start? What kind of in your industry, who are the players in your industry? What is the big thing about your industry? You have to learn about the industry you're trying to get into. That is you building yourself. That is you developing yourself. You want to be a YouTuber that makes so much money every month. Okay, how does YouTube work? You cannot just say, I want to be this without you learning about it, without you building your base, building your foundation. And my takeaway for you is that your foundation is you. Whatever you want to do, develop yourself for it. Go learn about it. Go understand it. Go build yourself. Prepare yourself for that task, for that goal. That is the seed that you are planting, right? That is the seed that you're planting for that harvest that you're expecting in the future. So tip number 2, build the base, lay a solid foundation. And then my next tip is to foster growth. Make incremental progress. Don't wait until you have that big achievement. Every single achievement matters. So an example is in the example I gave to learn how to invest in the stock market, just by saving 500 is a step towards that goal. If it's going to cost me 2,000 to learn and I just saved 200, that is a milestone. That is a goal. That is a progress. You have to make incremental progress. If I want to lose weight and lose 10 pounds and I lose 1 pound, that is an incremental progress. If I want to invest in the stock market and I just learned just how to open a brokerage account, that is an incremental progress. You have to give yourself an opportunity to grow, to see to make incremental progress. And that's where your actions come in. That action, that input from you, you have to make it in such a way that you're able to see your progress. And that's how you foster growth. The advantage of this is that it gives you motivation. You look back and say, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, and I've done that. Then you see your progress, then you continue to believe that you are going to do whatever that is left in your strategy. Okay? Now, the next item here, the next strategy that I have for you is to unlock your potential. How do you unlock your potential? It's for you to envision your success every single day throughout the process. You cannot envision it today and then leave it. You have to wear positive mindset. When you envision it, please do not envision the failures. We know that failures might come. We know there might be some roadblocks on the way, but don't envision those roadblocks, because when you envision them, you bring them to life. So envision only the successful outcome. Envision only the breakthroughs. Envision yourself doing those things you said you want to do. Guess what? When you envision yourself doing that, you've already done it. When it comes time for you to do that, you already know what to do because you've done them in your head, because you've done them in your mind. One of the things I like to do before I write anything is, because I write a lot of things, right? Or maybe I'm writing a class or anything I want to do that I need to write down. I don't just pick up a pen or put my laptop and start writing. No, I write it in my head first. I think about, okay, so how am I going to begin? What's going to be my first sentence? What's going to be the next? Like that. When you envision yourself doing that, the moment I pull my laptop to type, it's already flowing because I've written that in my head. So when how to unlock your potential is to envision your success, only the successful outcome every single day. When you envision it, you are drawing all the positive energy around you towards that. And that energy will kind of validate your thoughts. You begin to see that happen. And when it's time for you to do them, they will be just as easy as ABC because you've done them in your head. Make sense? Okay, so please let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I can gladly take your questions, okay? Feel free to ask anything at all related to what we've talked about. The floor is open for you to ask any questions, okay? Anyone? Okay, so eventually, if you have any questions or need any help or guidance with us, this is how you connect with us. This link is where we have all our events. Every month, same time, first Saturday every month, we get on Zoom and we have a brand new topic every single month. It's free to join, just like you joined today. It is open to everyone, anywhere, any part of the world. So on here, you can see a list of our upcoming events and the dates and times. You can send us an email. These are the two emails. One is personal to me. This is a general Wealthygen email address, and you can connect with us on social media. Now, every of our class is recorded and is on our YouTube channel. Please follow us on YouTube channel at Wealthygen. Go there, you can play a recording of all our past sessions. And then follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Just simply search for Wealthygen and you will see us there. So I want to thank you all for today. If you have any questions, let us know. We'll be glad to respond to you. Thank you for joining us. And I hope that this session has blessed you. And I hope you've learned everything you need to start crushing your most desired goals this year. So thank you all very much.